OK, what's going on with Bryan Mbeumo? Because I was just asking Sebastian Bass on there whether he'd like to see him at Tottenham. But Manchester United seem to be in the driving seat.
At the moment, it feels like he's headed to Old Trafford. We know that there were a number of sides that were interested in Bryan Mbeumo. His record since joining Brentford in 2019 has been phenomenal. He's just coming off the back of his best ever season with regards to goals and assists. He's a key part of that Brentford side. But once again, his contract is running down. Hence why Manchester United are seeing this as an opportunity. We know that there is interest from Tottenham as well. We know that there were other sides in the Premier League that were keen on Mbeumo, but it looks like he's heading to Old Trafford. They're just preparing a second offer, which they're hoping will get the player.
On the other side of Manchester, today, Man United and Brentford back in club-to-club talks for Bryan Mbeumo. After the first bid, 45 plus £10 million rejected by Brentford, the two clubs are in contact again. Let's wait to see when the official bid will come from Man United, but it will get closer to what Brentford want. Brentford started from £70 million. Then, as always in negotiations, they can drop the pricing for something close to what Man United paid for Mateusz Cunha, £62.5 million. So let's see, around 60-65 could be enough to convince Brentford. Let's see now how the conversation will go, how much Man United will offer in terms of fixed fee and also add-ons. This is also a factor in this story. But Bryan Mbeumo wants to go to Manchester United. This is the desire of the player. He wants to wear the shirt of Man United. He wants to play at Old Trafford. Despite approaches from Newcastle, Arsenal and more clubs, his priority is Manchester United. He has an agreement with Manchester United and now working to get the deal done. Club to club, Man United are accelerating. Cunha has arrived, and then they want to add one more special player like Bryan Mbeumo behind the striker, because they also want a striker for this summer transfer window. And remember, my exclusive story, I remember it was the day of the Europa League final in Bilbao between Man United and Tottenham. Before that final, I told you that Inter are keen on Rasmus Højlund, and I maintain my position. Inter want Højlund. Let's see if club to club they can find a way, but he's on Inter list.
Mbeumo. At one point we thought, yes, he's already signed for Manchester United. It seemed like it was practically done. Is there confidence? What's the chances of Spurs hijacking this deal also?
Look, for sure there is appreciation from Thomas Frank, and so it's quite obvious to discuss a target like Mbeumo for Tottenham, because he's one of the names they discussed internally as soon as he signed his contract as new Tottenham manager. So it's obvious in football to see these kind of situations, but my understanding is that Man United remain at the moment in control of the situation, in conversation with Brentford, club to club, talking almost on daily basis, trying to find a solution. We know with these clubs like Brentford, Brighton, it's always difficult to negotiate for their top players. So it's not easy to reach an agreement, but Man United are on that. Are talking to the club, always in contact with player agents and with an agreement with Bryan Mbeumo, because the player wants to go to United. And so at the moment, United remain front runners on this story. Let's see if they can be able to reach an agreement on the fee with Brentford.
With another offer for him after having their initial bid worth up to £55 million rejected. Are you surprised that Mbeumo would pick Man United over Spurs, especially with Thomas Frank now at Tottenham? I'm not. I think if Man United come calling,
I am and I'm not, because the simple fact is Manchester United. So you have to. It must be incredibly difficult to go elsewhere, because what might happen is Man United might get back to the levels that we know they have been for many a year. And then all of a sudden, then that's now, that opportunity is never going to come again. Do you know what I mean? They're not coming back for you now. Once they get back to where they want to get to, that's it. But then I think Thomas Frank, Spurs, just won a trophy. It's all new. It's brand new. You know you're going to play. The manager loves you. He knows. You know exactly how the manager operates. There's no kind of grey area there. So that's shocked me. But ultimately, you have to look at the two clubs. Both of them had horrific seasons last season. One won a trophy, yes, but both teams were in the final. And then you go, okay, what other factors are there? One of them is an absolute juggernaut of a football club, and the other one's a big club, but it's not United.
I know you played for Spurs, and I know you're an Arsenal fan, so try and take both of those hats off for a moment. But if you're him, and Man United and Spurs both come in for you, where would you be going?
Right now?
Yeah.
Man United.
Okay. Why? What were you thinking over there?
Because I was thinking that, again, Spurs big club, Solanke's there, but I am thinking, first of all, there's an opportunity there, centre forward, because Erasmus is struggling.
Yeah.
But not only that as well, like, in my head, Man United can't be this bad for that long. Surely at some point it's gonna come back.
Yeah. If Man United get him, Mbeumo goes with Cunha as well. Let's just say, well, how many other players do you think they are?
Oh, still a few.
No, for getting top six, knocking on the door. I think that's Man United's next jump, top six.
I think you still need goalkeeper,
centre
back,
half.
Holding midfield player maybe.
Well, you got Kobbie Mainoo. I'm not saying that. Hold on, I'm not saying this is another. You got Kobbie Mainoo, you got Ugarte, you got Casemiro.
Yeah, but there's no evidence with Kobbie that he's going to get you to where you need to get to.
No, I know, but they're the players that.
Yeah, you need a striker. I think there's so many more pieces you still need.
4,
probably 5, 6. I'd say. I'm not bantering.
No, but 2 have just come in.
Yeah, I mean, who's your right wing back? Mazraoui, decent. Dorgu, yeah, young.
He plays on the other side, yeah.
No, like left.
Yeah.
I still think there's so many more pieces.
Okay. Right on to the next rumour out the car boot.
Good run ahead of him. Oh, it's a brilliant goal. Lashed into the bottom right-hand corner. Ekitike's 20th goal of the season.
Yes, we're staying with Man United now because they're reportedly considering a £60 million for Eintracht Frankfurt striker Ekitike. Mm-hmm. He scored 22 goals in all competitions last season. He's been linked with Chelsea. Do you know much about him?
I don't. Unfortunately, I've not seen him.
No, that's normal, Benny, because there's so many players we haven't heard of now that come to the Premier League.
There's a few. You know, obviously, I've got Bundesliga Plus. So.
Yeah. You still got to have that stick.
No, it's not the stick, mate. It's just right. Bundesliga Plus.
How much is that month?
$7.99, I think.
$7.99.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bundesliga Plus. I watched that quite a lot.
Oh, well, that's good.
Ekitike, I do like him. Good player.
Who did you see him against?
What, Frankfurt?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw him quite a lot in the Europa League.
Yeah. But if you're watching Bundesliga Plus,
I watched him when against Bayern.
Right.
Yeah, good game.
How did he get on?
I can't remember what the score was, but
of course
he played really well.
Yeah, did
but
I'd love someone to tell me he was at.
More transfers, so we're going to talk Manchester United now. Mark, the latest on Jadon Sancho's future.
Yeah, just 1 year left on his Old Trafford deal. You get the feeling that he'll be departing Manchester United this summer. The latest team to show their interest, Juventus of Serie A. We know that Napoli have also been at the table and inquired as to his availability. They've now been joined by Juventus. We know that Borussia Dortmund have also made a couple of calls just to find out what the deal potentially could be. So, yeah, one to keep an eye on, Jadon Sancho, into his last year at Old Trafford. Only a matter of time now before he gets a new move.
OK, yeah, Michael, let's talk Andre Onana. Had a mixed time last season. Is he heading for the exit this summer, do you think?
Well, possibly. There's interest from Monaco. They're exploring potentially that deal. Look, there's been some high-profile errors. We know Ruben Amorim wants to change the squad pretty much completely. They don't have the Champions League football carrot of extra finances, but you'd imagine Manchester United might look to do that deal if the figures are right for them.
Days ago, the player told all the clubs interested in England, and not only in England, for example, Newcastle, Arsenal, all these clubs keen on signing Bryan, received a clear message. The player wants to go to Manchester United, and now we can say that the player sent very clear message to Brentford. He really hopes for the deal to happen, and now Man United and Brentford are in club-to-club conversations. Manchester United presented a first proposal, as reported by The Athletic in the recent hours, is £45 million plus 10 in advance, rejected by Brentford. Brentford are not accepting this money. They were starting from £70 million. Then in the first conversations they had with Man United and those close to Bryan Mbeumo, they clearly said that they would accept something similar to what Manchester United paid for Mateusz Cunha. So let's see, between £62–65 million. So with a small discount compared to the £70 million initial pricing for this deal. Now, let's see what's going to happen, because Manchester United want to accelerate. Manchester United will be in talks with Brentford also in the next days. They believe that having players like Bryan Mbeumo and Mateusz Cunha, goals, assists, Premier League proven, experience but not old players who are in the best moment of their career, they believe at Manchester United this could be the perfect step to keep helping Ruben Amorim after a difficult season. So, club-to-club negotiations ongoing. The player wants to go to Manchester United, and now we will be following the next steps of this deal.
Yes, for sure, guys. Bryan Mbeumo will join Manchester United. He is still making it clear to all the clubs interested in him that he wants Manchester United. So, guys, relax. I know you all are tired of this saga, but many sources close to Bryan Mbeumo are making it clear and open that the player wants to join United. Stay tuned for more updates, guys. Thanks for watching.